Obviously, interesting night. Thought, I've said it, on the radio. It's kind of like coach teams like riding a roller coaster. There's moments that make you sick and moments that are exhilarating, and it's you just kind of hang on and white knuckle that thing to the end. And so, thought we threw the ball everywhere in the first half. We were so poor with our decision making and our, it was just, I don't know. I've never seen I never turned the ball over, I don't think, in a half 16 times. It wasn't like we were getting pressured and turning it over. We were just literally just turning the ball over. But we also were up 16 points at half. I thought we didn't let the bad offense bleed to our defense. I thought we competed our brains out. We've gotten really good because we do turn over a lot at guarding live ball turnovers. We have I don't know if there's a stat in the country, but we might be the best team in the country at guarding live ball turnovers because we do it so often. And then I thought, our defense held the fort. And then second half, I thought we played with our turnovers aren't because I told them it's not because we're being selfish. I don't think it's that. I think we're not getting off the ball in time. I think we didn't have any rhythm offensively, and we were just trying to force it and press, not necessarily for ourselves, but just to make something happen. And you got to kind of let it happen organically. Good offenses, if you're going to play the way we play, there's a rhythm to it. And we had no rhythm in the first half. I thought we had a really good rhythm in the second half. And I thought our depth and pressure on both ends eventually, wore them down. And, in the second half, we were able to get the ball to the rim and our transition, our defense, and then just the value in the basketball. And then a couple of crazy Dion passes was good.
World's greatest halftime speech?
Yeah, that's as I said, bad coaches wait till halftime to correct it. I was trying to correct it in the game. We for whatever reason could not correct it. We did. I mean, obviously it was addressed in a very, direct way at halftime. I mean, you can't. We have to clean up our turnovers and our fouls. I mean, we have to. To be a good team, we have to clean up our turnovers and fouls. We will not be a good basketball team throwing the ball away like that. But I don't want to take away from, how hard they played to be up 43-27. I mean, it's when you think about it at a half, I think we had more turnovers than made shots in the first half. I mean, that's incredible. And we were up 16 because of our defense, because of our effort. And then the second half, I thought, at halftime, we just, same thing. I mean, it's just about getting a rhythm. You got to get off. You got to play for each other. You have to play basketball in a way to bring your teammates with you. We were pressing. We were trying to hit a home run every single play. I mean, we threw a half-court alley-oop, and almost hit the band director in the back of the head. We threw passes our student section. I mean, we had all kinds of stuff going on, jumping in the air. I mean, it was every, over-dribbling in crowds. So second half, I thought we made the game simple. We talked about this with Swope last year. Degree of simplicity versus degree of difficulty. Be obsessed with degree of simplicity. Like, you get no bonus points, not gymnastics. You don't get bonus points for making it more difficult than it is. Hitting singles and making easy plays for each other. Like, that's what the spectacular comes from. And so I thought second half we were much more, simple in terms of how we played, and thus it led to better rhythm and much more coherent offense.
So this, as opposed to the last game, this was a course correction without the issues at the end of the game. I think it felt like
we got a couple of defensive possessions, but I felt like for the most part we played the whole game. We course corrected inside the game, and that's and I thought we played harder down the stretch. I mean, we didn't just we didn't have what happened at Chicago State happen against Lindenwood. Where I thought. Chicago State, we just completely disconnected from our standard of play. We didn't play hard, and I thought we played selfishly. I didn't think offensively we played selfishly. I thought we didn't play intelligently. I thought we played to really make the game. We made the game very hard on ourselves and hard on our teammates, but it wasn't selfish. And I thought our defensive intensity the whole first half and really for most of the game, was terrific. Forced 24 turnovers. I thought we did a great job in our ball screen coverage. I thought we did a great job, point of attack. We were pretty good on the defensive glass. We had some lapses here and there, but we were pretty good on the defensive glass. I thought for the most part, our defense was for the most part tonight terrific, and again the effort level was really high. Despite it's easy to get offense sensitive when you turn the ball over that often, and you're that careless and that loose offensively. It's easy to let it bleed in your defense. To our guys' credit, they did not do that.
Yeah, I had you with turnovers on 41% of your possessions in the first half.
Is that all it was?
Yeah, that's all.
Felt like so much more than that, to be honest with you. Yeah, we wanted it 17 or less. So 41 is not a good number. That's insane. I mean, it also is insane that we scored 43 points, turned the ball over 40. I mean, we got to be averaging close to probably 2 points a shot almost every time we shot the ball, or 1.7. Yeah, but.
Ishan Schertz has a second straight good offensive game. He also is the only guy without a turnover. Just your thoughts on his game, and I mean, are you now starting to construct in your head how guys that might get a few more minutes than others? Is he doing things that?
Yeah, he's definitely helped himself. He's he's shot the ball great. Is what I said at halftime. Ishan was the one guy who never really presses because he needs the other guys to get shots. He's not a guy who just creates his own shot. So he's never out there really hunting anything other than playing the right way because he needs his teammates to help him to generate shots, which is fine. But is also why the game comes easier to him, why he's not, pressing and trying to do more than he should. I thought a lot of guys out there were again, trying to make the game more complicated. Ishan makes the game pretty simple. He knows who he is. He knows how he plays. He knows what he's trying to do out there. He knows the value he brings. And then he's a super high IQ defender on top of that. He's not only is he he's a very low mistake player offensively, but he's also a super high IQ individual and team defender. He really gets it on that end as well. So he's definitely the last two games, elevated himself. I think, as we get towards Grand Canyon stuff, I mean, you're gonna, we'll obviously continue to mess with rotations, but I don't see us deviating from, playing 9 a lot of minutes. Now it might get to 8.5. But I think we're gonna play 9 guys. But I do think you'll see some guys' minutes start to rise a little bit. Other guys' minutes start to kind of scale back as we get into, the stretch we're getting into here where the competition level raises up, which is needed.
You announced before the game that Dylan was no longer with the program. Can you talk about the conversation you had with him?
Yeah, we had a conversation I do with every player before we played Iowa, and I let them know each player where they are at that moment in time in the rotation because I think it's good to be transparent with the player. I don't want anybody being surprised, and then we were good, and he didn't. He played against Iowa a fair amount because of Dion was out, and then he was hurt for the Bradley game, so didn't play Bradley, and then. I met with every player a second time after Bradley just to let them know going into the season this is exactly what you can expect where you are on, I think it was October 25th, 26th. And we were good. And then, we had a third conversation, which we were good after. And then the fourth conversation, it just went to where, he wants a chance to go and play more. And he was in the situation going into the season where he was probably right on the outside looking in rotation-wise. Not that they couldn't catch those guys, but, and ultimately in today's world, you get to make those choices, and he chose to utilize his redshirt year. So, again, we're really grateful for him for everything he did. We don't get to the NIT last year without him. Helped us beat Richmond, beat VCU, and wish him all the best as he moves forward.
Amari in the second half seemed to come on with a lot. Which came first, the team playing better and Amari joining in, or Amari calming down? Or?
I think Amari calming down. I think Amari is one that, with this team moves the needle as much as any player. When he's at his best, he changes our ceiling as a team. I mean, he's just, as we've talked about many times, when he's fully engaged in a game, he's probably the most dominant player on our team, and and so when he locks in and plays, sound basketball, I mean, he just touches the game in so many different areas: the glass, the offensive glass, the defensive glass, his ability to drive and finish, the pass he can make for his teammates. I mean, all the areas. I mean, his impact in the game is tremendous, and I think he certainly helped. As we open that second half drive, and he just seemed to settle in the game and relax, and hopefully we're working and get that where that's who he is the majority of the time, that he understands, and we need him to be that. For us, to this team, to be its best version, we're going to need the best version of Amari McCoughtry for sure.
Saying Dion seemed to be envious of Amari's wingspan.
He was, yeah, I could see that. Dion has a negative wingspan, so I could see that he would be negative. Amari should be envious of Dion's motor. They could mostly maybe get wingspan and motor. So Dion plays, plays so hard and touches the game. And I think Dion's been great for Amari though, because he really gets him cranked up, and he's got such great energy. And I think Amari's seeing, like, if I can, if he plays that hard, I can do that. And then playing these short bursts, hopefully allow him to empty his tank. So Amari was great tonight. Dion was second half on those back-to-back plays where that underhand pass to Paul was insane. He was very, very good. Dion was at his pressure. I thought really, was terrific at the point of attack. Made it really hard on Cooper and on Clayton Jackson to get the ball across half court. So he was terrific.
You went with the two bigs to start again. I think they had no points and 2 rebounds at halftime. Having to do with the opponent, or what? Where do you see the production with those two when they're together?
Yeah, Rob's plus 33 tonight.
Right.
Which is the highest plus minus in the team. I told the guys in the locker room, like, he doesn't need to, he just has such an impact being out there. We've talked about that many times. Like, his net rating in his college career has got to be, if somebody, would study that, has to be insane. Like, the best players in an individual sport, people play better when they play with them. Like, that's Rob. People just play better when they get to play with him. It's not been as effective as we want. We're certainly not going to go away from it. Doesn't mean it's going to start that way every game either. But they're going to play together some. They're going to play separate some. I thought Paul settled in and played a little bit better in the in the second half. I thought he was a little bit, he had a layup there early, dropped the pass under the basket for another layup. Missed a play around the rim before that. So I think Paul's pressing a little bit. He's such a good kid. He wants to do, he's a guy that wants to play well so badly, and not selfishly at all, just like wants to help the team. He's an unbelievable teammate. And so I think as they settle in, they just got to continue to get repetitions. We're 3 games in, but certainly our best lineups were where we had the 4 perimeter players out there with Robbie was our best lineup tonight, and that may be our best lineup. But again, the 2 bigs are going to be needed at different times, and probably the 5 guards, and we'll have to kind of roll all those out. We just worried tonight with the 5 guards, which is how big they were. And Lindenwood's size is A10 level size, in terms of at least standing height inside.
Okay. How do you feel? You still haven't really put together what you would consider a complete game this season. There's always been halves and stretches that have been, and yet 100 points for the second game. And what this team can do when that happens.
Yeah, I think it goes back to what I said in the hallway at Bradley. You're sick to your stomach over the stuff, but you're encouraged about what can be. And I think their ceiling is unlimited. We gotta correct. The turnovers have to come down. I don't know what the percentage finished at, but way above 17. I could assure you that. I don't really look at how many turnovers, because so many things to me are possession based. Like points per game. I don't look at. It's how many possessions and how efficient you were. And so, I think for us, reining that in, fouling less, understanding lineup, versatility, and guys being able to play with different lineups. All those things are coming. And so, but I think you walk out of 3 games going, man, can we be special if we continue to improve, if we continue to hammer away at these things? And, we've won, 3 games by, I don't know how many points, but a lot. And we've played, again, 3 games, at home and all that. And we know the competition level is going to increase here starting on Saturday here in this stretch. We play, I think, in the next 7. I think we play 4, top 100 teams, and a 5th one is a quad 2 road game at LMU. So we know, but I think our guys, I think that's going to help us. I think these games helped us. We played 3 really different type of teams that gave us 3 different types of challenges. And we've had to kind of endure some things and figure out some things. But if this group is what I think, this week of practice will be unbelievable. We're going to start to really tighten up some areas. and hopefully, the best version of what we can be now will be on Saturday. It won't be the best version will be this season, but this team has no ceiling on what it can become. We have to continue to improve, and we got to continue to address the areas that we got to get better in, which are pretty obvious to not just you guys, but me and everybody in that locker room.
I think you're at 1.4 points per possession.
With the turnovers?
No.
Oh.
Points per possession. So
Yeah,
1.4.
yeah, at one point. I mean, that's insanely good. And you could see as the game goes on, we're able to you could see the wear down for Lindenwood, just like you could, Chicago State, all of a sudden, those full court drives, we're getting rebounds and pushing. In the first half, they're getting back and loaded. And then the second half, we're pitching ahead and getting layups. And, the ball's getting all the way to the rim and just the relentless pressure and making them work for the 94 feet. This group is, they bought into that. And we got to continue to grow, and we will. But I think we're all excited to crank this up, and hopefully a great crowd, Saturday here at Schertz against Grand Canyon. It's going to be a big time, hopefully, atmosphere for a really good game in November.
Do you ever want these guys to slow it down a little bit, like in the first half where they?
Yeah, I did. There was times where, it's a balance of how fast we can play, and the better teams you play, the less you're going to get in transition. So I think some of that's coming just with the competition level, kind of the talent level equaling out. But I don't want to take away what we do well, but we certainly have to run. We talked about this, pace in of itself is meaningless. It's pace with organization. It's pace with rhythm. We got to play really fast, but we have to be organized. It's not just chaos. We got to play fast. It can't be reckless and careless. In the first half, we played fast, but it was reckless. It was careless. Second half was pace with organization. We got to bring the organization and the rhythm to the pace. That's going to allow us to become we can and see the scoreboard move in a really significant way, even though I know we're moving it now. But we have a lot of layers to get to. We can be a much, much better team on the offensive end than we're playing. And I expect to be a much, much better team on Saturday.
Anybody else for Coach?
Thanks, guys.